Hello and welcome to the currently reading tag. I was tagged by Nobel Novels, who is the loveliest of lovelies. She's like right at the border of 1,000 subscribers, so you should definitely go check her out and like push her over the edge because she's so wonderful and you will definitely enjoy her content. And the original was created by Charlie Ray, who will also be linked down below. I have been doing a lot of tags lately and not super active on booktube. Thank you, Splain. I was on a 9-day consecutive work streak, which is why I just got overwhelmed and didn't do anything. But getting back into the swing of things, and hopefully I will do some more like interesting content and not just tags for the next few weeks. But a tag today because I really needed something that was like low energy. This is fun. The first question is, how many books do you usually read at once? Usually 3. It used to be 1. I am a person who likes to just like focus on one book and read it, but lately has gone to 3 so I can read like across mediums. Right now it's 5, which is way too much, but 3 is usually like about where I stay. Question 2, if you're reading more than one book at a time, how do you decide when to switch to reading the other book? So again, like I said, 3 books, usually across mediums. So it's 1 physical, 1 ebook, and then 1 audiobook. And I switch just depending on the situation. I listen to my audiobook in the car when I'm driving. I read my ebook when I'm at work or when I don't have access to my physical book. And then I read my physical book the rest of the time whenever I can. It is generally my priority, and then the other 2 just kind of fill in the gaps of when I don't have access to a physical book. Question 3, do you ever switch bookmarks while you're partway through a book? Generally not, unless I lose my bookmark. I'm not like super persnickety about bookmarks or anything. Like I kind of just tend to like reuse the same ones. I have these little like cute little cards. Let me see if I can grab one because I could show you. In my currently reading book, I have these. They're like little childhood card things that have like a little illustration on the front, and then on the back there's a quote. I have like a whole box of like 30 of them that I got as a child from like my grandmother, so I just use those, and I just tend to use the same one for like a few weeks at a time, and they'll be like, I should probably switch that out, and then I switch it out for a new one. But I don't tend to switch unless, like I said, I lose it, which happens sometimes. Question 4, where do you keep the book you're currently reading? The ebook and audiobook are on my phone, so those are always with me. My physical book tends to just move to wherever I was last reading it. It lives on my sofa a lot just because that's where I tend to read a little bit. Like when I come home from work, I just drop my book there. Right now, you can see one of them is up there. Like I just left it there, so it would be like around, and one of them's on the floor over here. They move with me. They don't have a specific location. If they're within reach, I tend to think I'm more likely to pick them up, whereas if I have to go into like a different room to get them, I know I'm not gonna read them. Question 5, what time of the day do you spend the most time reading? And it depends. I have days where I'll just like read for the majority of the day, which is interesting. When I work, I tend to read like on the clock a lot, like my ebook, and that's like the majority of my reading during the days that I work. But when I'm off, I wake up early because I work early, so like even when I'm off, I'll wake up at like 6 o'clock in the morning. And like today is Saturday, like I got up at 6 a.m. this morning, and like no one else gets up or wants to do anything until at least 10. So I got like hours in the morning that like I can film a booktube video if I'm quiet, which may still be waking people up, but that's fine. I can read, like I can just curl up in my chair at like 6 o'clock in the morning and just read my book for like a couple of uninterrupted hours, and like I do that a lot. So mornings are definitely a big time, and also just like the middle of the day when I'm off, I tend to just read. I used to read a lot at night, but now I'm just too tired. So generally I would say like mornings or like the middle of the day. Question 6, how long do you typically read for in one go? And I tend towards longer reading periods. I do like to sit down and just read like large chunks of a book. So like I prefer it to be like an hour, you know, or longer. When I'm at work, not so much. I'll just read for like a couple pages at a time, just like quickly, surreptitiously on my phone, reading my book. But for my physical books, I tend to like try to carve out time to read where like I can just like curl up in my chair for an hour and a half and get reading done. I don't like count pages or anything. I just enjoy books, or I enjoy the reading experience better when I read books in larger chunks. Question 7, do you read hardcovers with the dust jacket on or off? I read them with them on. This was not a thing that I realized people did until booktube. Like, I would never take off the dust jacket of a hardcover. Like, it just was one of those things that never occurred to me that people would do. Like, not judging anyone who does, like, it makes sense because they do get damaged so easy, but like, it just like, it never crossed my mind. And I get why people do, but I still just read with them on because I don't really care. Question 8, which position do you mainly use to read? Just sitting up usually. I have a reading chair that I like to read in, or I'm reading on the sofa, and both of those are just like, I'm kind of reclined back slightly, but just like largely sitting up. Anywhere else just like hurts for longer periods of time. Question 9, do you take the book you're currently reading with you everywhere you go? And no, I don't. I take it with me for my physical book. For my audiobook and ebook, yes, I do, because they're on my phone, and my phone is always with me. But for my physical books, I don't. I generally only take them with me when I realistically think that I will be reading. Like, I will take them with me to, if I'm going to like a doctor's appointment and I think I'll be waiting in the waiting room for a minute, or if I'm like taking my car into the shop and I'm waiting there, like, it's like realistically I will be reading some in those situations. If I'm like going out shopping with a friend, I'm not going to take my book because like I'm probably not going to read. If I'm going to like a dinner or something, I won't take my book. But also I do have my ebook on my phone, so if I'm ever wrong about those situations, I do have access to a book that I can read if I have like an extra 10 minutes or something. And question 10, how often do you update your progress in the book you're currently reading on Goodreads? Basically never. I'm terrible at Goodreads. I work so hard just to get myself into the habit of like posting that I finished them. Sometimes I don't update them until I finish them. Like, I'll just finish 3 books and then go on and be like, oh, I need to like guess the days at which I read these. I never update my progress when I've read like 100 pages. Like, I barely get to the point where like I can write the review and say I'm done with it. So no, I don't. I'm not a reliable updater on Goodreads. And also I do read things in big chunks, so it's just like I can sit down, start a book, read the whole thing, finish it, and it's like 2 hours later and I'm like, well, I'm done with that one. So yeah, that's not a feature of Goodreads that I use basically at all. So that is the currently reading tag. I'm not going to tag anyone, largely because I do not have the energy to go find people who might want to do this. But if you would like to do this, go ahead and do it. It's fun. It's interesting. I like hearing about people's reading habits. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all again soon.